Hey guys, this is Poverty, and it has been 2 years since I've been doing videos for under this account, and one of my reviews is I've decided, I reviewed my progress over the last year, and I have decided that it'd be interesting to look into monetization. And this is about the only channel I would want to monetize because I think there's some good stuff here. So there's a few things I have to change, so hopefully YouTube doesn't flip a pancake. Oh yeah, I gotta have good language here. So that's gonna be the attempt. I gotta remove a lot of my normal phrases and switch them out for greasy steaming loaves and $2 candy. Ooh, this $2 candy. So yeah, they don't allow adult material, so I'm going to have to Disneyfy this whole flipping thing. So let's do it, shall we? So, welcome. We are covering characters. So, you can see I got save load in here. I've been doing a lot of coding, but let me get to the point. Character H for header. And then there is no character CPP since, let me start at the beginning. Alright, I have mapping. I have removed the XY location from the mapping and I placed it on the character because it's the character that needs to track his location, not the map needs to track where the character is. This will help go moving forward, especially for server client code 2 years from now or so. Therefore, mapping. I have display, and this is where it used to be. It showed the XY location under load map, and now it doesn't. I have under map, this is bad form, but I have predefined player in global H. I lied. Global CPP. There we go. So there we go. I have player defined here, which is right here. So under mapping, it's already predefined. So I do not have to worry about it being unidentified, undefined, unknown. Since it's defined here, used here. It's also defined here. So this is the original code. I make the class definition here, and then use it here, and then finally in main. So everything is in order, and a lot of people have a different technique for doing this. They have, if file not used, then include file not included yet. This just makes sense because even though it's C++, it is very sequential. This, then this, then this, etc. Let's get back on topic. So client, character. Define name, level, experience, current health, max health, and location X and Y. Out of this, I'm missing items inventory, haven't coded it yet, skills, haven't coded it yet, and quests. When I get to it, I will code it. So for now, I just know that it is good. Well, this is a good starting point. You have to start somewhere. And it's best not to get too complex too fast or you burn yourself out. Defining the class character. If nothing's defined, then your level is 1. It's always going to be 1. It's never going to be level 0. Character name is going to be a space. We're going to absolutely have to fill in the name. Experience is 0, obviously. Current health is max. Max is 10. And then we start at XY at 2 and 3. I can predefine these here. For example, starting map square X and map square Y, if I feel like it. But ideally, when we get to save and load, we'll have a file that predefines its starting place at X and Y. And with all that stuff, we got the usual stuff. Get name, set level, get experience, set experience, and add experience. I'm not going to have any loss. So if you die, no lost experience. We can get this more complex later on, but for now, we only need this. So get current health, set current health, set to max, add health, subtract health. Definitely useful for fighting, otherwise you're in God mode. Get max health, set max health, and add max health. So when you level up, you will add max health. And then finally, set X, set Y, get Y, and display, which is going to be displaying your character sheet. And it's promptly defined down here. This should be moved to CPP file, but meh, I'll do it later. So for now, it's defined right here. And we basically output name, string name, health, current health / max health, level, experience, and that's it. XY will be called by the map, or when you describe or look at your room, it'll describe your location, which calls to the X and the Y of your character. Pause the system, because you know, when you display, you want to pause it here. And I am changing the color to a lovely, you'll see, to number 2, and then returning to number 7 after hidden any key appears. Alright, what else? Where I'm applying it. So you start off with intro, and going to intro, dun dun dun, I have gotten fancy. So that's going to look, I meant for a sky color, so you're going to get some nice sky color, ground color, and more ground color. So hopefully it looks nice. As text, it just doesn't. You're dealing with only 16 colors of text and 16 colors of background. And I played with it for a while. I just improved it from a flat blue. Alright, and of course, these 4 hours, week 9, 4 hours, this includes the save and load, which is already done. So I'm probably going to get the save load files done, recorded and posted quickly. I have a bit of, I'll show off the to-do at the very end of this recording. And of course, I changed it to Poverty Isa, just to clean it up. I don't want YouTube to say, oh, you cannot monetize this. But anyways, if you're watching, thank you. I definitely appreciate this. And I expect, I don't know, $1 worth of monetization per year. So yeah, at least it's more than 0. Anyways, yeah, and I can't offend sponsors. Oh my god. So they can go flip pancakes if they get offended, because I have this problem, this disability. I like to tell the truth, even if it hurts. That's why it's an adult channel, but can't do adult on YouTube. So, back to coding. So I'm going to have kind of some funny adult-ish stuff. No sex, no nudity, nothing like that, but you get the idea. Alright, getting back to it. So usual intro, I really haven't changed anything. Goes on down. This is where I'm going to detect save and load. So no save, blah blah blah, and it starts off with the intro, so it ends with new character. So I don't have to change the intro, I just have to change the function underneath. And at the end you see I set the name here, or choose a string, Bob. You are going to be Bob. And then we set the name, and then we display the character sheet. So this is a starting point, just a starting point. Load map does nothing other than displays your current X and Y. Gibberish. This looks like a complete mess, I admit it. It looks like a complete mess. And in the engine, nothing has changed. So let's get to this, shall we? Compile it. And I think it's good. Let's run it. Dun dun dun. So it's still hard. It's very hard to read, but there you go. Some sky, some dark horizon, some probably should be the other way around. Dark and middle. Anyways, I've improved it. So created by Poverty is you've read the intro. No save and load feature detected. Starting new character. Your name is Bob. The Great and Glorious! Just kidding, Bob. You're a young adult who wakes up on the beach. And there's tons. There's a town nearby. And some monsters to kill. Yippee! Voila. There's the character sheet. So you got your name, your current health, your max health, level, and experience. Beautiful green. Followed by painful blue. And it's just stating east to move right, north to move up, Q to quit the game, S to move down, and west, W to move west or left. Voila. And you'll notice that it's currently, you are in a room, coordinate 2, 3. South, south, one more, bonk, you hit the wall. North, 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 east, 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 bonk. And voila. So, the next step after this, yes, time to quit. New game 2015. Now quitting. It took us 3 minutes to demonstrate. No, minute and a half. Alright. So there you go. Character is now defined. The next step, and this is what I was going to bring up, the to-do list. And I spent some time rewriting this. One of the things, rule of thumb, not to burn out, don't look too far into the future. Because if you look at how much work you have to do, you're going to just like throw in your gauntlets, throw in the gloves, throw down the gloves, be like, I'm done, I'm out. Because it's just too much. Therefore, I've added estimate hours and then a list of many different things to get done. And ideally, last thing to do, design replay of game, code restart. You lose half your skill, but you gain 5 skill points to place anywhere. Oh, yes. And chord. I'll get it right one of these times. Record how many times you restarted. So you can keep restarting, and each time you restart, so the first time will be 5, next one will be 10, next one will be 15, and each time you restart, you lose half your skill. And obviously there's only so much you can go. But if it can't disappear completely, so whatever default is, anyways, minor details. So that's kind of my plan to make it replayable. So you can go through and grind through and build your character up, and it should be easier the second time around. I may throw in some stuff like locked doors, and when you win the game, you're given a key. And that key appears on your new character, but you have to do some grinding before you can actually battle to the room, and then unlock the locked door, where you get some nice extras. So that's kind of replay thoughts. So this is end of game stuff. Prior to that, code the ending. Prior to that, code questing. Prior to that, design questing. I rewrote the timeline. So this may be a little boring, I apologize. The one thing I want to point out, sometime in December is when I kind of just, it's 21st is the last time I actually did something. I procrastinated until last week. So I've rewritten my little outline, my to-do list, my timetable. So this is this week. Save, load, and clean it up. And I'm actually going to do it 2-week measurement at a time. So currently it is the 25th, and May 1st will give me another week to work on this. So save load version 1 complete. Save load version 2, which saves the character and loads the character, is complete. I've already done that. I just haven't done these recordings. I apologize. I will try to stay on top of it. One of the things, of course, is talking about lack of planning and feature creep. I've got to review my videos to remind myself if I've even covered this topic. But once I get the save load done, the game actually opens up. I'll be doing a lot more talking about this when I sit down at my book to do designing. But after that, you'll notice that the map just says you're in a room. Coordinate X, coordinate Y. Nothing special. So now that I got save load going, there's a lot of things to start working on, to clean up. So there's redesign the map, recode the map, which will include descriptions and exits. Maybe later on, this is like version 2.0, keys and locked doors, but it's not on the plan. I'll worry about it in version 2. The other thing is you really have to draw a line in the sand and say, this is my goal, and don't throw in feature after feature after feature, which will burn you out, because you see the finish line, and that finish line keeps moving further and further away. There's going to be a point where you have to say, I am done. It may not be my best work, but I am finally done. I can draw a line in the sand and say, this is version 1. And then you review your code, look at everything, and decide what you're going to do for version 2. And hopefully it doesn't become too many features that kill you before you get version 2 out, etc., etc. This is all about stretching your capability and having a place to start with and then building on it. If you plan too much, it will burn you out. So I try to avoid doing that. So let's get back to this. I did not decide how many hours because that's all done. There's still more I want to do for saving loading, so I'm not going to put up my feet until next week. I need to, yeah, well anyways, it's planned for the 2nd. Redesign the map. I'll probably sit down and, I gotta sit down and start talking about saving and loading anyways, and do a recording by the end of the week. But after that, saving opens up a lot of things. For example, debugging. You can export to a debug file. When it comes to the map, you can have a dynamic map that's loaded in every time, and then have an edit tool that will edit the file so that you can build any map you want. You can design your own map. So you can write a tool to edit the map, and then you play and edit your map, and then when you start the game, the map is auto-loaded. Other things, you can also start an account with 3 different save files, which is the plan, so you can have 3 different characters you're working on. But for now, we're going to stick with 1 character, 1 save load, and we're going to stick with a map, no tool yet. So with this, I have decided that 2 hours is going to be the design time for the map, and about 4 hours to code, which breaks down to 2 hours adding description, 2 hours adding exits, and then finally 4 hours for save and load map, totaling 14 hours to do. So in 2 weeks, 14 hours, that's 7 hours a week. That's a bit much, as so far what I've been able to put in about 3 to 5 hours a week. And that's being lenient. I really have to get focused and get back into it, but meh. So the next 2 weeks to the end of May, I'm looking at 8 hours of code, design creatures, code creatures, save load creatures to map. After that will be time and coding it, 4 hours for that. So you can see I've kind of rough estimate. Coding creatures to move randomly, design the fighting of creatures, code the fighting of creatures, design monsters and fighting, code monsters and fighting. So all this is all fighting and monsters, creatures, monsters, etc. The next chunk, designing skill, coding skill, save load skill, and then a little bit of buffer time, about 3 hours of testing skill code. So there's now 4 different things: design, code, and then dealing with the save load, and then finally testing. And finally recoding intro, because there's all sorts of stuff to add to it. And I decide this is as far out as I want to go, otherwise it will just burn me out. Designing inventory and items, health potions, money. Finally coding designing, and now coding. I'm thinking 6 hours is about right, and then a buffer testing items and inventory. After that, designing code, loot drops, you get the idea. Shop, coding shops, designing questing, coding the end, designing replay. So that is the timeline I'm looking at. And instead of actually predetermining it, I've got a bad problem with feature creep, which means lack of planning, and which causes feature creep. So a lot of this stuff I did not plan in, and I've been adding and adding, and this list is getting longer and longer. So the goal is to be done by November 15th. So hopefully I can have a game and maybe post it to Steam. I'll look into it. But that's it for now. This has been Poverty. And thank you for watching. This has been character creation and random gibberish. Thank you again.